As I was doing my grounding this morning, the ancestors came through super strong. So I'm just going to relay what was said to me for the most part, but just understand that I do work with the ancestors, and I usually keep this stuff pretty private. But know that my soul contract, which I'm very well aware of as a starseed, is that I made a sacred vow to restore the great balance here on Earth. So I do have a connection with the ancestors all over the world. Whenever I travel to different lands, they seem to seek me out to do some healing work. I help heal generational trauma energetically and help release it from the collective field through many different healing modalities. But once in a while, they will just come in strong. And I feel like this wasn't a message from just me, that it needed to be heard and acknowledged for the interest of those who are connected in with Indigenous roots currently. And I'm well aware of how a lot of different cultures have been dismantled in the name of colonialism. And this all kind of sprung up when I was starting to do some healing and just said, like, I'm sorry that those things happened. And I guess that sort of like opened up this portal and this communication line. Then all of a sudden I had chief to my left, chief to my right, and then just so many other Indigenous leaders of many different tribes, the ancestors that are no longer present with us, but are still connected in with these lands and are still connected in with their people who are living and integrating into modern society today. So what he had said was, my people are lost. My people don't know who they are. And this was kind of telepathically portrayed as a result of the dismantling of their culture. This is a very common theme repeated throughout history, many different places and countries and lands, whether it was the Spaniards or the English or the Americans and many other sort of like colonialists that took over. So just know that this message can apply broadly throughout the globe. So yeah, what he had said was, my people are lost. They don't know who they are. Then I had asked how I can help. Why is this message being brought through for me today, right now? Because it normally doesn't happen during a grounding at all. Usually I'm just talking straight to Mother Earth, and that is that. But why is prevalent now? And what they showed me was that there's an opportunity now where there are resources at hand to reclaim culture and customs from the past, and specifically, he pointed out, specifically through song, through dance, and through ceremony or customs. I don't know the specifics, but what was relayed to me is that there's opportunity and resources now available in this time and age versus maybe even like years ago. It's almost like the restrictions from outside forces are like lifted a little, or maybe with the fact that like society these days, thankfully, is a little bit more inclusive. I don't know what the case may be, but please just take this message in whatever may resonate and actually may help you. It's open to your interpretation. But then he went on to further say that, through song, dance, and customs, that integrating more of who you truly are, these pieces of you that may be lost or have been forgotten or temporarily erased, they need to come back home. They need to come back home into your being. This is part of soul integration. If you don't know what soul integration is, there are some lovely resources online. The book literally called Soul Integration by Sal Rakelli, is what helped me figure out what this whole like new age ascension thing is. Years ago, early on in my awakening process, I want to say I found that book in like 2012 or something like that. And the overall theme, and I don't want to paraphrase it too much for you because there's a lot of there's a lot of healing in your own discovery, but basically soul integration is the process of reclaiming all aspects of yourself through past soul lineages, whether on this planet or others. And I say others because as a starseed, if you're a starseed, you will have other aspects of self to integrate there. Anyway, why this is relevant now is that we can finally coalesce in in reclaiming the past indigenous customs and ways of life. Oh, okay, here comes through. Okay. Why this is relevant now is because it has to do with the great balance and restoring that. What was in those ancient customs and the tribal knowledge, if you will, was sacred. It was in alignment with the great balance. It contained sacred wisdom that is beneficial for the health and wellness of people and of the planet. There are traditions and customs that can be reintegrated today, even in today's modern technology. It can be reintegrated to help restore that great balance. So there's a two-part benefit. Number one, you can reclaim all these former aspects of yourself that have been lost and forgotten so that you can remember who you truly are, so that you can awaken to a more whole picture of who you truly are, your identity. Without these pieces, you may feel lost, you may feel forgotten, you may even still be holding on to that generational trauma subconsciously, or even just connected in with you through that soul lineage. It can carry in your field for up to 7 generations is like the general rule of thumb here. And so in reclaiming, reintegrating the sacred knowledge through those customs, and he kept saying like, specifically through song and dance and customs, I was like, what am I even saying right now? Because I try to repeat it out loud so I can remember it. And the second part is, in doing so, there is a shift that happens on a greater macro collective scale. It helps balance out a very biased, okay, let's just back up for a second. For like years, we've been going in for hundreds of years. It's been imbalanced ever since those powers that be that came in and colonialized or took away the lands and customs. Then the world started to go in a whole new direction in the name of modern society, industrialism, then technology, et cetera, et cetera. But then we lost our way. It became very much a consumer society, and without understanding the implications, or not necessarily just understanding, but without any regard to the great balance and how overconsumption disrupts the harmony of this living planet. And so now we're at a point where it needs to come back into balance, where people who are connected in with these tribes, and even if you are not necessarily of indigenous descent in your blood, in your physical characteristics, it does not mean that this message doesn't apply to you. You may, just like me, have soul lineage throughout thousands of lifetimes, connected in with these different lands, and can reclaim those for yourself, those aspects. It usually for me happens as a spontaneous awakening and as an activation when I'm visiting these places all over the world. It's like I don't even know I have this until I go to specific spots, and then all of a sudden there's like this soul remembrance. It's really trippy, and sometimes those will manifest into spontaneous past life regressions or visions, where I'm like talking with the ancestors, with my tribe members, from that time and period, as they always come in and try to assist in this process. It is of benefit to them, to you, to Mother Earth Gaia, to be open to this process, to be willing to integrate and discover these pieces of you. And then, so that's kind of like in an abstract sense, but there could actually be actionable steps you can take in your communities to reintegrate these customs through song and dance, and reactivate that sacred wisdom that you may remember, or that you have access to, that could be shared. Do not be afraid. There are so many ancestors behind you, helping you and advocating with you and for this change. So the two benefits is for yourself, as you integrate more aspects of self, you reclaim more of your power. I seriously have felt like more tuned in, tapped in, and like more gifts have come online through integrating these different pieces of me all over the globe, all different lifetimes. And then the second benefit is that it helps Mother Earth. It helps reclaim the balance that we so desperately need, because here's what he said specifically: we cannot move forward right now. And move forward, the context is that like we can't move forward in our ascension process, in our evolution, in our spiritual evolution, without integrating the dark, or basically the past trauma that has just kind of stuck around in the collective field and hasn't been properly healed and integrated. I do a little bit as I travel around. So many other light workers and grid workers are doing this, but it is a all hands on deck. Everyone owns shares to this process. So what he had said is we cannot move forward unless we pick up the pieces from the past, that key sacred wisdom and ways of life that need to be reintegrated into our modern world. Because as I think about the ways of life that were held during these different ages, before robust technology, it seems like, what are we all going to just be living off the land and farming? While we have AI, it just seems like a total dichotomy. But it is possible to integrate the two worlds of modern technology and modern lifestyle, but also reclaiming the sacred wisdom that that encouraged wholeness and empowered state of being. We're in a wellness crisis as an entire globe, especially in the United States, but throughout the globe, where we're living out of balance is the best way I can summarize this. And so we cannot move forward unless what is under the surface comes back up and is integrated into where we are currently today. I don't know exactly how that looks. I don't have all the solutions. This is up for your interpretation, your contributions, however this may resonate with you. But know that you are so guided and protected. I know it may seem scary, but a lot of this can even just start with a spiritual reclaiming. And as you step forward into that alignment, ancestors will work with you and through you to help you remember the sacred wisdom. And then you just integrate that into your lifestyle. And as you take action behind it, you may encourage others to do the same. So don't think that this has to be some scary like uprising, and I'm not necessarily saying all that. All I know is, like a tree root, everything, all the nutrients come up through the root of that individual shaft, if you will. And then it goes up through the tree trunk and branches out to the leaves, to the collective, to the outer world. We are those roots. Everything that we do individually to heal ourselves comes up through the trunk and out through the branches, and in the physical world is reflected in our field, in our actions, in our inspirations and aspirations. So do not worry that this has to be a top-down process. It's always a bottom-up process. So I hope this message has been helpful and encouraging this type of ancestral work and and cultural revival. We need your cultures to come alive. I fully back you. I fully support you and advocate for, I mean, I just truly love when I'm in a place and I can hear multiple languages spoken around me. That's like my favorite thing. I just believe in universal love. This can tear me up a little bit, but I do believe that we can work to oneness, that we can live as a society as one day. But it has to come back into balance, and it has to be now. Your voice matters. You matter. Your culture matters. And if you're questioning if anyone wants to see it or hear it, blast it out there. Yes, emphatically, yes. In fact, there are people, a lot of people like me who are like, they love culture exchange. They love learning about different types of cultures. They love celebrating. We are now in an age where past cultures need to be celebrated and uplifted because you help us get back into balance. Truly, the modern world is not sustainable. But now we have so many different unique perspectives, from modern to pre-modern, let's just say, that we can now merge both sides into one for a powerful way to move forward. We can't move forward unless we acknowledge the past and let it rise up to support us now. I hope this message sparked something within you and lit your light. Know that there will be great rewards that come with doing this work. That you're so supported, so loved, and so guided. Share your wisdom like the world depends on it. Because we do. Wow, that was a very powerful message that wanted to come through. I hope that it resonated with you. I'm sending you so much love and blessings from my heart to yours.